Good evening, everyone. You are very welcome. I'm very happy to see some faces that I know from Brazil, and it's also nice because our two speakers are from Brazil. I'm also another Brazilian for the two speakers that I haven't met yet. And this is our second event of the Femspace Talks on Leadership. And today our speakers will be talking about competitive and collaborative leadership styles. First, I would like to introduce our community. We are the Global Shapers, as you can see that sitting here on my left corner. And we are specifically the Global Shapers from the Düsseldorf Hub. What are the Global Shapers? This is a global network where we have young leaders driving dialogues and actions to change the status quo. That the Global Shapers was created 10 years ago, and this is an initiative from the World Economic Forum. And we have hubs around the world. I know some of the people who are here, we have people from Canada, people from Brazil, and if you go to the website that we are going to share later on, you're going to see probably there is a hub on your seat. And what we do, we have the 17 SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, and basically we are creating new projects to tackle problems we have in our local community. We identify a problem, plan a project, and then we have solutions for this problem, and we talk also with other organizations on our city. Later on, when we have solutions for those problems, we can reach out to those other hubs around the world, because in the end of the day, we also have similar issues in other cities. We can connect, and then we can even make a more powerful impact that becomes finally a global impact of our work. And this today that we have the Femspace Talks on Leadership, this is an initiative from one of the projects we have here on the Global Shapers Düsseldorf, that is the Women Leading Forward. The Women Leading Forward basically wants to empower young women and girls to be the leaders and become the leaders from their own lives, by fighting gender stereotypes and other forms of bias. And we also want to inspire other women. That said, we want to create not just a network, but a new network of women where we can become mentors, we can have people we can rely on, and that we can build this dialogue around the diversity and inclusion in a safe way. And this series talks is one of the arms of our project, where we want to share with you our vision that we believe there is a leader on everyone, and that we understand you can go and standing for your beliefs, fight the obstacles, and just be strong and empower yourself. With no further ado, I would like to hand over to our moderator for tonight, Harshita Call.
Thanks a lot, Elysian, for that wonderful introduction to what Global Shapers Community stands for and what Women Leading Forward stands for. A very warm welcome to all of you. This is Harshita Call. I'll be the host and the moderator for the event tonight. And as you can see, today is a very special day, not just because we have all gathered together to discuss something of utmost importance to us, and not just to us, but also globally, but also because today is this Indian Festival of Lights, and this festival signifies not just prosperity, but also enlightenment. So I would like to wish all of you a very enlightening evening with us here, so that we can collectively come together to discuss leadership specifically, and hear and learn from the experiences of some of the stalwarts in their fields about the challenges that they faced, the obstacles that they overcame, and the inspiration that their experiences harbor. So this is basically what I am geared up for, and what the evening ahead holds for us. But before we move to the event and I take the opportunity to introduce our speakers, I would like to take the opportunity to invite the members of Women Leading Forward, the pillars behind this event and the masterminds behind this event, to quickly introduce themselves. And I can start by introducing myself. So I am Harshita, and I'm an active global shaper, also the impact officer for the Düsseldorf Hub. By profession, I am a scientist in making. So I'm currently pursuing my PhD in biology from Cologne. And originally I hail from India. And I think without much ado, I would hand over the floor to Kamand, who is the project lead of Women Leading Forward, to introduce herself.
Thank you, Harshita. And a welcome from my side as well. I'm very happy to see so many joining us tonight and taking the time. As Harshita said, I'm the project lead. I've been a shaper since 2018 and currently joining from Freiburg. And yeah, I'm in the middle of my law studies and finishing in the following year. So this is from my side. I will hand over to Anna.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Kamand. I'm Anna. I'm a data scientist. Originally, I come from Belarus, and I have recently moved to Düsseldorf for my studies. I study in the University of Düsseldorf the data science and artificial intelligence. And as in my field, I also see a lot of gender disparity and inequalities and in technical side, in the computer area side. And that's how I came into idea of changing this and moving into more equal direction. And that's how I found Global Shapers and especially Women Leading Forward project. And events like these give a lot of energy and inspire a lot. So thanks you all for coming and joining us here. And with that, I give the word to Lisiane, please.
Well, you already listened to me. I'm a Global Shapers about 2 years, but I started that on the Bay Area with Palo Alto Hub. I'm a member of the Global Shapers Düsseldorf for 3 months now, and I'm part of the Women Leading Forward initiative. And by profession, I am a bioengineer, but looking for a job here in Germany, and I'm very happy to be part of this project and this hub. And I would like to hand the mic to Berisha.
Thank you, Lisiane. Hello, my name is Berisha and I'm a global shaper since July this year and also part of the Düsseldorf Hub and also for us to the Women Leading Forward team as well. And I have a legal background and it's really so good to inspiring and to look women also in different professions and also to get this inspiration. And I'm really looking forward to hear all of your speeches today. Thank you. And I give the word over now to Taksan.
Perfect. Happy to take over. My name is Taksan Sotinathan. I'm part of the Global Shapers now since 2018, I think. Oh, wait, 70? No, 18, I think. I am currently the vice curator in Düsseldorf. I'm involved in different projects, especially on sustainability and energy, but also I'm an eager follower of this group here and the activities this group is doing, as I think it's such an important topic and it's always important to have everyone at the table. I guess handing over to Chen.
Thank you, Taksan. Hi, everyone. My name is Chen, and I'm the curator of Global Shapers Düsseldorf Hub here. And I'm very happy to see so many new faces today and also so many old faces too. So happy to support the activities. I come from mechanical engineering background and I'm doing my MBA at the moment. And I've been a shaper since 2019. So glad to support and glad to see many happy faces here. I'm looking forward to the talks and also to the contents. So I'll give back the mic to Harshita, the moderator.
Thanks a lot, Chen, and thanks a lot, everybody, for the wonderful introductions. All right, now I think it's game time, yeah? Before we start the evening, we want to start it with a bang. So we are gonna play a game. And for that game, I need all of you to switch on your videos and also unmute yourselves. And you will realize in a bit why we need all of you to do that. So could I please have all of you switch on your videos and also unmute yourselves? This is a very interesting game and it has a very interesting message for us. So if it's okay for everybody, please switch on your videos and also unmute, including our team members. I think we all want each of us to be unmuted, yeah? I can see more videos coming up. Yes, guys, come on.
So unfair. It's evening. It's evening in Germany. Oh, man.
No gray screens allowed, yeah? I still see a few of them. It would be really nice if all of you can unmute yourselves and also switch on your videos. Yes, I see one more video that got turned on. Great. All right. So while the others get over the inertia and the shyness and switch on their videos and unmute themselves, I will quickly tell you what the game is about. So we are 25 participants here in this virtual room, yeah? And the idea now. Wait.
Yeah, that's the downside to everybody being unmuted.
Everything comes with a price. But as long as we play the game, it's fine. All right. So we are 25 of us in the room, and the rule is that we have to count from 1 through 30. Okay? And the little catch here seems like a very simple exercise, right? But the little catch here is at a time, only one person should speak. If more than one person speaks at a time, then we start over counting from 1. Okay? Can I have a thumbs up if the game has been understood by all? Okay. And now in order for us to play, I require everybody to be unmuted. All right? Okay. Then we start the game and maybe I can start by counting 1.
2.
Okay, that's cheating. No. We start over again. Okay, I go. 1.
2. 3.
4.
5.
5. Well, we made good progress, yeah? But as per the rule of the game, we start over again. I know you're not good.
Can we discuss like strategies? Can we do it like alphabetically or so?
Sure.
I'm thinking like going from left to right, you know, if you look at the Zoom screen.
But does everyone have the same order?
I think so.
No.
I'm on the second one, like beside Harshita. Can everyone come on?
I'm the second one.
I'm also the second one.
First one, so it's different.
I think the alphabetical approach is
We can try again, like remember the number that you have spoken just now, and then we can try, and we should at least reach 5 this time.
All right. I get the liberty and I start with 1 and then over to you guys, okay? 1.
2.
3.
4.
5.
6.
7.
8.
9.
10.
11.
12.
Oh.
I didn't get the rules because I'm in the cell phone. So
Okay, one last try. Do we continue with the same rules or do we want some other rules?
How if we raise our hands when we're going to speak? So we first raise our hands and then we say the number.
Good.
That's a good trick.
I can
the rule,
see
Bianca.
everyone. I can see.
Then Bianca starts.
Speaker.
You start.
Bianca, the rule is we start counting from 1, and then we have to say at one time only one number. We cannot have multiple people saying the same number.
Oh,
and if
okay.
multiple people
That
say
I
the
get.
same number, then we have to restart again.
Yes, the main rule I get, but I can't see all of you in one.
That's no issue.
You can
Then
start then.
You start, yeah.
Yeah, remember the old number.
And Bianca?
I start?
Yep.
You can start.
Okay. 1.
2.
Okay, gaps more than 2 seconds not allowed.
You didn't say that in advance.
Anyway, guys, this was a great game. I think we went up to 15. That's in itself a big achievement. So kudos to all of us. And I think let's all clap for each other.
Kudos to Harshita for thinking about this game. Thank you.
Yes. And the reason, actually, the little trick here was, the reason why we wanted to keep this game in the first place was to already introduce you to the importance of leadership. Imagine, we are a very small group of 22 people, and we had a very simple task of counting collectively. And you realized that without somebody talking about strategy or talking about a way forward, how chaotic it was. Hence, the idea is that even in the smallest of situations, sometimes you need to take the initiative to present a way forward. And that is exactly the kind of values that we appreciate, talk about, and uphold at Women Leading Forward. Yeah. So whether it's conquering life's larger battles or whether it's playing a simple counting game, leadership is something that comes in handy all the time. And we did see those leadership skills, those leadership qualities, and some of the people who kind of took the initiative to show a path. And then as you realized that it wasn't just one leader, we brainstormed together to come up with the optimal leadership strategy. And this is exactly what effective leadership is about. With this, I would like to take the pleasure to introduce our speakers for today's evening. And I hope that with this event, we are all charged up to listen to their stories and see what their experience has in store with us. So as it was introduced in the beginning, the topic for today's Femspace talks is competitive versus collaborative leadership. And what we really uphold at Global Shapers and at Women Leading Forward is that there is no right or wrong way of leadership. And what we see, learn from people, and after reading their stories is that they can have contrasting ways of dealing with the same situation. But at the end of the day, what matters is that they took the initiative to change the narrative. And that is what today's session is going to be about. So our first speaker today is Patricia Maria Pascali. She is a professional with strong analytical background and broad experience in various industries, such as telecommunications, automotive, logistics, and data business. She is an experienced management consultant, bringing more than 20 years of experience, including 5 years of an international assignment in the UK data strategy and product development. As very evident from her bio, she has extremely strong leadership and entrepreneurial skills. And through launching a local startup branch, reporting to its headquarters in USA, she has proven, given a proof of her leadership qualities. As a person, Patricia has the ability to motivate, influence, and develop partnerships to deliver results. And she has a proven track record of exceeding revenue targets and optimizing P&L to improve business performance. Throughout her endeavor, she has demonstrated strong communication and analytical skills. And that is why we at Women Leading Forward are really privileged and happy to have you on board as one of our speakers. And with this really amazing introduction, Patricia, I hand over the floor to you to hear about your experiences and to hear about what you have to share with us about this form of leadership. Over to you, Patricia.
Thank you very much. It's indeed a very special night today, and not only because of the lightning, which is, we are honored to be here in such a special day for this culture, but also because we have a few Brazilians as well in the audience. And I think that's really special, especially when we are living abroad. We feel warm. And talking about leadership, it's definitely something that inspires me all the time. It's really something that amazes me. So thank you for the introduction. I think you really have summarized my CV, which is good. So thank you. I will just briefly probably just add a few things I consider myself a woman in tech. So I am someone that is in a very male-based environment. I have always been, sometimes the only woman in a room. And I think this come a lot to do with the way maybe I managed my career up until today. I have bachelor law in statistics. I did an MBA in business management, and now I'm doing a master degree with Hannah in data science and artificial intelligence. And I have always managed my career in large corporations. I have always worked for big companies, multinational companies in Brazil, and as you mentioned before, 5 years in the UK, and now in Germany. I've been living in Germany for 3.5 years. And being, I guess, being woman in tech never stopped me to put myself forward as a leader and as someone that would love to really inspire teams and are motivated to, you know, achieve business challenges. So competitive and collaborative leadership is a very interesting discussion. If you ask me a question, am I a competitive leader? I guess I am. But guess what? I think leaders are typically competitors. I mean, at one or another level, most leaders I have met have a competitive soul. And not competing against someone or competing against some company, but really competing to thrive and to deliver results through a team of you know, high performance individuals. So for me, competitive is more about delivering results through a motivated team. And I'm a strong believer that competition does not go apart from collaboration. So in order for you to really deliver your success, you have to collaborate as well. So I think those two, let's say, leadership styles, they come with, you know, hand to hand. And I see collaboration as a tool for you to deliver, you know, your results, you know, by creating, you know, a team that work together. And I think throughout my career as well, I guess I would say 3 main things were always on my main focus. The first thing is you just have to be yourself. You need to be authentic, right? You have to put yourself forward the way you are, no matter what, no matter if you're a man or a girl or whatever you are, you just have to be authentic. And you have to be authentic with lots of ethics and integrity. And the reason I say that so strongly is because the world out there is getting so excited. And for us that work with data and technology, we know how powerful this data is out there, and how much big organizations are doing the right thing and how much others are really crossing some lines. So we have the responsibility of drawing this line so that this line is not gray. And when you see yourself in a situation where you're not sure, just put your ethics in front of everything, because it's going to take you forward, no matter if, you know, maybe sometimes you're not saying whatever someone is, you know, waiting to hear, but you have to be authentic. And I think the second thing is, that always, you know, drove me, my career forward all the time, is getting out of your comfort zone. And I think to me is, I'm here in Germany, I don't speak the language, I've been here for 3.5 years, I'm really trying. But of course, you know, this is not my comfort zone at all. I mean, I can't communicate. You know, I had to start my relationships from scratch, my networking from scratch. But getting out of your comfort zone means that you are growing, you are doing something different, because comfort zone is a very happy place, if you think, right? It's really good to be on your comfort zone. And sometimes you really need a little bit of comfort zone as well. But if you put yourself too much in your comfort zone, you're really not going to go anywhere. And for me, the last thing, and I'm going to leave you with this, probably this thought, and then pass the word back to our moderator, so my other colleague speaker can talk about herself as well. is follow your dreams. I really believe, whatever dream you have, you can be whatever you want. I mean, the place of a woman or the place of a person is whatever this person wants to be. If you want to be a leader, just put yourself forward and take a risk and, spread the word, and you're going to be a leader. If you just don't want to be and you want to be a housewife, it's fine. It's whatever you want to be, whatever makes you feel happy, whatever fulfill your life, and following your dreams and have a clear plan on how you're going to get there. And sometimes it's not going to be easy. Sometimes it's not going to be fast. But you know where you want to be, you know what dream you have, and you have a clear plan on how to achieve your dreams and how you're going to achieve your step by step in your life. And sometimes it's not a clear line, it's going to be a roller coaster, but you're going to, you're going to travel around your roller coaster, you're going to learn and you're going to have fun. So with that, I would say probably, that summarizes a little bit my leadership style. Which, yes, it is a competitive leadership style, but also I use a lot of collaboration as well to deliver my my work. So I'll pass the word back to our moderator and see if there is any question or if we're going to go forward and introduce our next speaker.
Yes. Thanks a lot, Patricia, actually. It was wonderful listening to you and your perspective of what entails, what are the qualities that define a good leader, and definitely what are the common challenges and what are the common kind of qualities that you need to develop in yourself. Because I think leadership is not just about leading, it's also about introspection and improvement at every step, taking feedback and moving forward no matter what. We have a very interesting question in the chat, and it goes, how do you see the quotes for female leaders in big corporations? I've seen women unsure if they are rather promoted because of their good work or because the company should reach a certain number of female leaders.
That's a very, very good question. And I wonder myself this all the time as well. I think there are always two sides of the story. There is a company side of the story. And of course, I see that from where I come from, most of the companies, they are getting better and better on gender equality, which is great. We were not quite there, a few years ago, and I think we're getting better and better at gender equality. And I think more and more men are also getting involved in including more women in leadership positions. And I think that's just absolutely amazing. But of course, there is another side of that story, which we cannot lose control of how we're going to achieve gender equality. There is a lot of discussions around quotes and saying, I have a goal by 2025, I want to have 50% of my board fill up with women. And then every single position that I open, I need to have at least one woman as a finalist. Now, from one side, this could be a little dangerous because you cannot diminish all the good work men are doing as well. And it's not just because you're a woman that you have to be the finalist of a job process. But on the other hand, we do need a baseline, kind of my view is. We will get into a point where competition between men and women is going to be fair. And then whatever percentage of women in board is going to be what it is, because that's what story says. But right now, we are still fighting to get our position right. So there is a baseline that large corporations have to play a role. And for them to play a role in a way that is fair, there needs to be an existence of a rule where at least women get the opportunity to be the finalist of job positions. And of course, we got to be careful. I don't want to be promoted because I'm a woman, to be absolutely honest with you. I want to be promoted because I have competencies that are necessary for this particular job. It wouldn't make me feel comfortable, someone to say, just because you're a Latin woman, just come here and then manage my company. I don't want to hear that. I really don't want to hear that. And I don't think most of the women want to hear that either. So I think it's, it's a necessary movement. The large corporations needs to play that role where they have this quote for women so that we can reach a baseline. And once we reach this baseline, I believe it's going to start getting much more natural and fair, and we won't need quotes anymore to fulfill positions. So kind of that would be my answer to your question. But that's a very, I think about this every day, to be honest, because I think it's a very interesting question.
Really inspiring to listen to you, Patricia. We have another question in the chat. How is the experience to train and develop leadership skills with your staff? How do you manage their insecurities and then also strike a balance with yours?
Very good. Yeah, I mean, I think you touched on a very good point. I think insecurity is one of the, it's one of the issues that we have on the reasons why people just don't get promoted. You know, maybe they will have a very, very high skill, and those are the things that you can train, right? So skills, it's something that you can train. You know, you buy courses and you can do a lot of things to train skills. But this kind of soft skills are much harder for you to get someone to get to know. I think the most for me, what I always try to do, and I hope that I you know, succeed most of the time, is to make sure that whatever job someone that works with me are doing, that they understand, you know, there is feedback, there is something that you have to improve, but here are the very good things that you're doing so far. And then give the opportunity for this person to really expose itself to the large, if I'm working for large corporations, for example, so expose this person to other areas, other peers, so that the confidence is going to come over time. And I think the confidence comes when, you know, the person feels that they're doing a good job. So feedback is really important. And then also the confidence comes when they feel that they are ready to move to the next level. You cannot also force that, I don't see. You know, if someone is really not feeling, you know, confident enough to do a next step, you just have to give it some time. I mean, and then it depends. I mean, the time is the time. Someone is gonna, you know, grow faster because the confidence increased faster, but some people will take more time, and you have to respect that time.
Great, Patricia. We have one more question. You have mentioned that if someone wants to be a leader or wants to be at home and with the family, both of these options are fine. But I find most difficult to handle both of them at the same time, which is to have a strong and successful career with a caring and creating family at the same time. So what are your views on that, and how to be able to do both without going crazy? How to balance the time, or does it come at the end by choosing only one thing, either job or family? Very pertinent question.
I'm really glad someone asked that question, because then it gives me a chance to talk a little bit more about myself. So I myself, I have two daughters. They are now 8 and 11 years old. When I was in the UK, I got pregnant there and I was working. So I took my maternity leave there, and then I went back to work, and I was there on my own with my husband, of course, but I was there without mom and, you know, all help that Brazilians know that we can have in Brazil, and we cannot have in the UK or in Germany. And then when I got pregnant of my first daughter, I wasn't thinking about stop working at all, even though I wasn't in my house and I wasn't in my country. When I came back from maternity leave, I got myself organized. I put her in a nursery, and I found a very nice nursery that I liked, close to my house, and then I start working. Was that easy? No, it was not. I would just leave her there and cry on my way to work. And it would be really, really, really sad, and I would be desperate. So the beginning, I think it was harder because I had to, get used to this dynamic. And when I was at work, I would be thinking of her. And when I was with her, I would be thinking of work, because I didn't do my work when I was working. And after some time, I realized that when you have kids and you want to take care of your kids and you want to be a good mom or a good dad, you have to be present, and you have to be 100% present if you are at your work, because this is the time you have there, and your child is somewhere else. Your child is being taken care of in the nursery, and guess what? They close the door and they are happy with their friends there. And when you're back and you have your child back, you have to be 100% with your child, and you cannot think about work at that time. So only when I realized that being present was, to me, the main secret to really balance my work life and work and being a mom, and that would make me feel much happier, this was when I started being so much more productive at work. You cannot believe it. I won't waste 5 minutes in things that are not, you know, bringing me results. I'm there 100% of my time, but at 5 o'clock, I want to leave because I want to be with my daughter, you know? And when I'm home, I'm sitting on the floor playing whatever and watching Peppa Pig or whatever it is. And I think when I realized that it would be possible to balance those two lives, that was when I started being more productive again at work. I got promoted when I came back from maternity leave as head of data products in the UK, which was not the easiest job of my life because I was not in my country, not working in my language, and working in a company that calls Royal Mail, which is a very British company. So I was probably one of the very few internationals around there. And, you know, when my daughter was 1 year old, they called me and said, you know what, you're going to be head of this department. And I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. And that was just the proof that you really can do this. Of course, you need to talk at home as well. And, you know, your husband have to play a role because, of course, you know, you have dishes and you have food and you have all of those house logistics to take care of. But you can do it. It's just something that you have to get yourself organized. Now, when I said before that, you know, you need to make sure what you want, and then whatever you want, you have to respect your dreams. When I moved to Germany, I decided to take a sabbatical myself because I saw myself with 2 daughters in a country that I didn't speak the language. We had to kind of settle in ourselves. So I decided to kind of take a year off and taking care of my family, making sure my kids were happy at school before I moved on. And that was a decision that, you know, we made as a family, and I was very happy to do this. And when I went back to my studies and, you know, doing my my work after a year, I was super ready to do that, but I had to respect my 1 year time. So we do kind of have to balance those things and make sure that whatever it is that we are putting forward to ourselves, it is our dream, and you know, we push that forward with our voice. So that would be my, so it is possible. That's my main message, I guess. You just have to find our balance.
Patricia, we have another very interesting question for you. Do you experience resistance when you are leading men? Is it very often? And if yes, how do you deal with it, generally speaking?
Okay, I guess I have 2 examples, one good and one bad, to kind of share. When I was working at Telefonica, for example, it's a telecom company in, you know, in data and tech. I was surrounded by male, and there was one situation where my team was like 10 men. There was no woman reporting to me. I was the only woman there, and they were all reporting to me. And at the beginning, I was a little like, oh, how this is going to work. And I had the best time ever in my life. It was just absolutely amazing. We had a really respectful relationship, and I don't feel that they felt, you know, diminished because I was a woman in any point, and I didn't feel, you know, lack of respect at any point because they were all men. And all my boss were men as well, and we were all happy, you know, working together without any problem at all. So that's kind of a very good experience. Maybe I was lucky, or maybe that was just the way I push myself forward with self-confidence. And I don't care if you're a man or a woman, we're going to work like side by side. And, you know, we just are the same. I really don't care. But I think I had a situation once when I first started my job in the UK, where I had a man reporting to me, and it was very tough. Because 1, I think he would never accept that I was a woman. 2, he would never accept that my English wasn't as good as his, because of course he was an English person and I was a, you know, Brazilian trying to speak English as best as I could. And I think it was just hard. It was hard for him, and he made my life miserable. It was very difficult. And at some point, I would feel insecure myself, because I would say, you know, maybe that's not my place. Maybe this is just not something that it meant to me. And I would like start a presentation, apologize about my English. I would say, I apologize, my English is not good enough, because this diminished my self-confidence in a way that I started kind of being the villain of myself. And at some point, some people that I developed relationship came to me and said, you just have to stop apologizing because of your English. You're here, right? And everybody can understand you perfectly. And I had a conversation with this person, and it wasn't good either. He would say in my face, I don't think I should report to you because, you're a woman. And at that point, I just said, I'm not going anywhere. So if you're not happy, you are the one that have to go, because I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. And I think it's, it was hard. It was tough. At some point, I think, he tried to accept, but he moved on, he decided to move on. So that was like a not very good example where, there was a situation of non-acceptance between me and a male reporting to me. And at some point we had to kind of, break this relationship, which wasn't the output I was happy with at all. But on the other hand, at Telefónica, I had very good experience with, lots of men around me where we had excellent relationships. So I think it's also a matter of, maybe sometimes you're not going to be lucky enough and you have to handle, you just have to stand for yourself and see how is the best way to handle the situation. It's not always easy.
Great. I think, Patricia, your experiential stories are so full of inspiration that a lot of people have questions and they keep coming up. So I would just like to inform you guys that we have a networking session towards the end of this event, and you can feel free to talk to the speakers then, and also meanwhile think for more questions if you would like to discuss about something else with them. For this segment, I think we will end with taking one question from Chen, who has raised his hand. So Chen, over to you, and then we move on.
Thank you, Harshita, and thank you, Patricia, for the wonderful, wonderful content about your personal experience on tech leadership. I just want to ask you regarding one small point, and that is getting out of your comfort zones. You mentioned that we only grow by going out of our comfort zones. And I'm just curious to know from your experience, like, do you always seek to grow your comfort zone, like go out and then grow it? Or is there also time where you feel like, okay, yeah, this is enough, and I think I will have to take a rest, and then you took a rest, and then you stop growing your comfort zone, and then I don't know, maybe in 1 or 2 years later, then you will go out of your comfort zone again. Does this happen to you before? And how do you deal with when you don't have the energy anymore to grow your comfort zone?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And I saw a research the other day that I read about the level of comfort zone that you can accept, right? That a human being can accept. And the research was talking about, going out of your comfort zone is really good. It makes you grow, but too much out of your comfort zone, it takes you to burnout. Right? So that's the risk. So if you really push yourself too hard, harder than you can accept, it is too much and you're going to burn out. So that's a very, very good question, because every one of us have a limit on how far you can go, right? And otherwise you just can't take anymore. And I think, COVID was, of course, one of the situations, probably the most bizarre situations all of us ever thought about living in this life. I never thought I was going to live something like that. And we had a lot going on, right? I had my master's studies, which, can you imagine myself 20 years out of the academic world, and then all of a sudden having to study deep learning and machine learning? I was like, that's a lot. And I had my kids in homeschooling, and I had my work and my husband working from home, and I had to cook every day because, everybody had to have lunch, and I had to support my kids because they were 8 years old and 11 years old. So the 8 years old would need much more support. And, it was at some point, I was like, wow. And then I had to, so my decision at this point was my family comes first, because that's kind of my rule. My family always comes first. And I decided to kind of step back a little bit on my studies and said, now I'm going to just do like one discipline, a not very difficult one, because otherwise I'm going to go to burnout. So this was when I decided that was my line that I had to draw and say, I'm not ready to burn out. So I have to kind of step back a little bit. And this means more time for me maybe to finish my master, but I don't care. I think it's just a decision that I took, and I don't regret. I think it was the right decision. And I fully agree with you. It's really important that we draw our line. And sometimes, go back to your comfort zone. It's where you have to be for some time. And maybe it's going to be 2 years for you. Maybe it's going to be 4 to me. Maybe it's going to be 1 to someone else. But it is really important that you are aware of your line, and that you take it seriously, and then you stop when you have to stop. Otherwise, you are going to burn out.
Thank you, Patricia. Appreciate it.
Great. Thank you, Patricia, for the amazing discussion. We have a few questions in chat, and we will address them towards the end of the event in the networking session. So thanks for taking us through some very important and intrinsic concepts of competitive leadership, whether it's about establishing your space, getting out of the comfort zone, setting up boundaries, or maintaining a balance. It was really wonderful to listen how you integrated all of it, and you carved out a path of yourself. So kudos to that, and we are really inspired to have you with us. We will now quickly switch gears and move to the second form of leadership that we will now discuss, which is the collaborative form of leadership. And to share her experiences with us, we have another very inspiring and enthusiastic leader with us, Ana Paloma Silva. She's a 27-year-old Brazilian UX researcher at IBM based in Sao Paulo. She is studying social sciences at the University of Sao Paulo, and she is currently being a mentor of political education and the NGO Politze. She is also a part of the Black community in UX and design, and she is actively helping Black women to join and improve their careers in the technology field. With the determination to overcome gender stereotypes and also to empower women, Ana has demonstrated commitment of steel to overcome the challenges and keep the focus on point and to achieve the goal no matter what. Indeed, Ana, your stories are really inspiring, and we are looking forward to hearing from you what you have to share about your leadership style and what do you think a collaborative form of leadership entails. So with this introduction and the inspiring profile that you have, Ana, over to you.
Hello, guys. So I see many Brazilian people here, so I think we have to teach Portuguese to the audience, I want to teach you how to say hi, how are you in Portuguese. It's I'm going to write in the chat. It's oi, tudo bem? So you can say oi, tudo bem? It's hi, how are you in Portuguese? And every time that I say something that you think it's really nice, really cool, you can say que legal. So these 2 sentences you can use, in Portuguese. So the first one is oi, tudo bem? How are you? And if you say I'm fine, and you tudo bem, você. So, and then, and then if you think that something that I say it's nice, and I hope that I say something nice here, you can say que legal. Okay. Is it hard? No, right? I was talking to Command because we met each other learning French, and she was learning Spanish, and I told her Portuguese, it's pretty hard even for us, at school I was terrible learning Portuguese because all the conjugations, all this stuff, with the verbs and stuff. And I say but if you know other language like French or Spanish, it's easier for you to learn Portuguese. But for example, I have a friend I wrote in the chat, he was learning German, and he said that he cried at the class because German is so difficult. So when Patricia said, I can't learn this language, I totally understand you. I don't know. Well, I think maybe one day I will try to learn German, but right now I don't know. So guys, I want to share my screen. Is it okay? Can I share? Let me skip up. I can't. Oh my God. It's because of my computer. But okay, let me tell you something. I am from a small island called São Luís Maranhão. It's an island in the northeast of Brazil. It's a beautiful island. I really was going to show you. I think I can authenticate here. It's because I'm using the Mac of
I think
We lost you, Anna.
I think she's off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she will have to let the settings to share screen, and yeah, she's back.
Great. All right.
With Max.
So while we are waiting for her to rejoin, maybe
I'm here. Sorry. Just because I had to get out to show my screen. I'm so sorry, guys. So this is the island that I'm from. I'm from São Luís Maranhão. So you are all invited to come, especially in June, that there is a festival called São João. It's amazing. It party like for 2 months, you know, June, July, and August. It's amazing. And there is this paradise here called Lençóis Maranhenses that people always go. It's like 5 hours from my city. I've never been there, but in December I told my parents that I have to be there, you know, so it's amazingly beautiful. And you know, so I came from a poor community of São Luís, and my neighborhood never appeared in Google Maps, like recently now appeared, but when I was younger, you know, people were all, oh, look at my house at Google Street, and I couldn't show my house because it never appeared, you know. So I really thought that, oh my God, they forgot us, they forgot me, you know. So as a Black poor person, you know, a Black poor woman, I faced a lot of challenges, you know. And now I'm here in São Paulo, studying and working at the same time, as it was said. And guys, it's not easy, you know, like my life, when Patricia was saying, put yourself limits because you know you're going to burn out, and was like, oh my God, I don't have a choice. I'm like burning out right now, you know, because I'm still like a graduate student. So, well, life's not that easy, you know, like I really wish, but of course I'm learning my limits, you know. And she was totally right, you know, like even with difficult circumstances, it's pretty nice, you know, to, well, maybe give up something that's really important just for your mental health. And I had to learn this in a really bad way, but don't follow my example. So I just want to show you like that I'm part of this community. This is the Instagram. This is the community that I'm part of. It's UX for Black women. So this is in Portuguese, UX para Minas Pretas. It's a community of more than 1,500 women that are migrating from other professions to the technology field, because here in Brazil, there is a boom of the many vacancies in technology. Many entrepreneurs are creating startups here. So there is an open market here for the technology field, and the conditions, the salaries are very good. So that's why we created this movement, this project, to bring more Black people, because we know that technology, it's mostly like white cis men. So let's change this, because many of the solutions that we have here, especially from people like me, that I'm a Black woman, some of the solutions are not for me, and they are sold for me, you know, but they were not made for me, because white people, they project this, they develop this, and they have like no idea. Not talking about bad about white people, but it's just that a solution was designed for people that doesn't necessarily understand the reality of the people that consume it. That most of people here in Brazil, like 54%, are Black people. So that's why are like 54% of the people are Black, but most of the solutions, the technology solutions that we have, are made by white people. So why? And then we realized that talking about diversity in the technology field, it's essential to make solutions, to make great impact in the society, because you are doing the solution that people really need, because you understand the people, you have diverse ideas, you have diverse solutions, you know. And I'm part of this other community that is also for Black people in design, but this one includes men and women, men and Black women. And this community, it's very nice. Like these two communities I'm showing you guys, because there is no leader in these communities, you know, like, of course, there are people that are responsible for partnerships. There are other people that are responsible for the workshops or the talk sessions. Of course, each one has their own role, you know, but there's no like, oh, hierarchy, I think this is the pronunciation, sorry. So there's no hierarchy, there's no like, oh, a great leader, you know, so everybody collaborates, a collaborative space, you know, for people to share knowledge, for people to help each other, to share like positions on LinkedIn. And because of the partnerships, we have like for example, for me, I could manage to receive like 2 scholarships for UX courses, you know, because of this community, you know. And for example, I am at IBM now because of this community too, because they share the position in the community, and then I could apply, and then like I'm here, you know. And in IBM, we have also communities we have the global community, the Black global community, that we do a lot of talks and workshop sessions. And we have the Brazilian one that we are doing like really hard, you know, really hard work to talk about diversity at IBM. Because, for example, in my team of research, we are like 15 people, but just 3 of them are Black. And of course, we have a lot of women, and it's pretty nice. Like most of the board, I think half of the board, it's women, but Black people, just 3. And I'm like, guys, something's wrong. We need to change this, you know. And I've just like entered at the company, and I'm just like creating a movement, you know. And I always love doing that, you know. So it's really nice being part of these communities. And I learned a lot about collaborative leadership because of this organization here called IASEC. I think there is IASEC in German, and I was part of IASEC when I was I think 2014, 2015, for 2 years. And it's an international organization that helps people, like people that are members, to develop leaderships and to sell internships programs and volunteer programs, you know, so you can travel for other countries to do volunteer work and to develop yourself leadership skills, and the professional program that you can work abroad and of course develop leadership skills. And inside the organization, you also have like this model here. That's the leadership model that we had in ISAC, at least at my time when I was there. It was called I think it's LDM, I think the name. And so we have how you manage to develop leadership skills. So we have like this infinitive like symbol, because it never ends, the process. And you have like the outer journey and the inner journey. So starting with the outer journey, you have your responsibilities at the NGO, at IASEC, you have your role, and that you challenge yourself, you know, to do something that you never supposed to do. For example, when I was at IASEC, I was a leader of the social programs. So I had to talk with the NGOs, to do partnerships, to for us to develop our programs at the NGOs, you know, and to bring like exchange students to these NGOs to develop their own projects. And of course, I was pretty shy at the time. So for me, it was very, very hard, you know, to talk with people, to call people, you know, but I challenged myself, you know, because this was the purpose of the NGO. And then talk with multiple stakeholders. So we had to talk with NGOs there, government, and many, many stuff, you know, like many, many people, entrepreneurs. And of course, dealing with different people, different idea, it's very challenging, right? Like as Patricia was saying, that you have to be secure of yourself. And by that time I was not secure at all, you know. And many times like the members of my team were like, no, I want A, and the other, no, I want B. And then I was like, oh my God, what are we going to choose? What's the best for the project, you know? And manage, you know, how to talk to people, how to communicate, how to dialogue, how to negotiate, especially. It was pretty interesting for me. And then when you go to the inner journey, you understand that all of these experiences helps you to set your personal goals, to understand what do you want, why do you want. And in ISAC, that it was the place that I really learned it. I love project management. I love social impact. So I'm going to work with this, you know. And everything that I do, I always think about this model of leadership, you know, because it really helps us to not, oh, I'm going to lead everybody, I'm going to make them obey me. No, it's to make, like as it's written here, the support system, you know. So everybody's learning from each other, everybody's sharing, everybody's helping each other. So that is what was ISAC. And if you have the opportunity to be part of or to make like something together, I really recommend, because I really love this organization. And then when I moved to São Paulo, I worked at a technology company. This was my first technology company that's there. I learned about the UX field. They had a model that it's not this image. I was really trying to find the right image to show you guys, but I couldn't find, but later I can send to you. But it was the holistic model of management, you know. So there we were rotating some roles of management, like, oh, so for example, for the meeting for today, you'll be the one speaking, you'll be the one like registering our thoughts, and you'll be the one like controlling the time. So for each meeting, we had some roles, and for like some feedbacks, we had like the 360 feedback that you give feedback to all the team, and all the team give feedback to you. So this is a type of holistic management, you know. And all the actions that we had, it was all like, why I'm saying holistic, because they were happening at the same time, and they were happening like horizontally, like, yeah, right. I sometimes I mix language, so I'm sorry if I'm speaking something wrong. But yeah, so everything we're not happening like with hierarchies or, oh, I just do this, I just do that. Everybody was doing like the same actions, the same things. And of course, like every time, like changing roles. Okay, so now it's your turn to, for example, for coding. Okay, now I'm coding, and next time I'm reviewer code, and vice versa. So this type of management was very different for me, and it was really, really nice. And it helped me to realize that this is what a community is, you know. Everybody's helping each other, everybody's supporting each other, and we just have different roles. We are not like better than anyone, you know. And it's pretty nice that we have these methods that we can learn, and we can like reduce, you know, the hierarchy for us to talk more openly, you know, with each other. Even if it's my leader, you know, on paper, but in the daily routine, you know, this person is not my leader, this person is my colleague, it's my partner, this person is really there for me, you know. So yeah, in IBM, of course, it's not this model, you know, but we try a lot to have more open spaces to talk, to give feedbacks. And I really like always try to bring this to people. Let's work as a community. Let's work not with the positions, but let's work as a community. Let's just support each other, because we receive more doing that. The impact of our work, it's bigger, you know. And I talk it a lot. I hope that you guys understood.
Great, Anna. Thanks a lot for sharing your perspective. And it's really interesting how you very eloquently pointed out that leadership is not like an end destination, it's a journey. And it's not just a journey, an outward journey for, leading for the sake of leading, but also for the sake of growth and improvement. And you need to focus your energies both on outward journey and on the inner journey. And it was also interesting to hear about collective ownership and how, you have made attempts to have open spaces and feel people heard. And actually, that's why I think we are lucky to have this very amazing combination of Patricia and you under the same roof today, because we realize that the same problem can be handled in so many different and creative ways. And all you need to do is align yourself to whichever way you are comfortable in, and then you're on a roll. So we have a very interesting reflection in the chat, and that says, thinking on Brazilian reality and other developing countries, many times people don't have a choice. And this is very important to be said. So thank you for putting light on it, Anna.
Oh, thank you so much. And I was in a discussion earlier with my stepfather. He's a Black guy, and he was saying like, oh, I'm doing like a test for I'm doing like an application for the government field, for the government position. And he said that 10% of the positions of the vacancies are for Black people. And he said like, this is unfair, and I'm like, no, but this is not unfair. The unfair environment, that's causes, this kind of public policies, that's why we put like 10% of the vacancies of the positions for Black people, because the environment that we have, the society that we are, it's unfair, it's unequal, so thinking that it's unfair, like, no, many things are unfair, but 10% of the positions, it's not unfair. So I think that's why we have to fight a lot, for policies within companies, to every time that I apply for a position, or every time that I'm doing an interview with a company, I always ask, what are your policies for diversity? What are your policies for developing career for Black people, for women, for LGBT people? So, and many people, they just answer me, we are looking this, and man, I was like, like it's 2021, guys. Like, it's time to wake up. It's time to put women in leadership. It's time to put Black people there, and the change begin with us, So that's why we need to make this movement, and that's why these spaces of discussions are really, really important. And yeah, let's make a change, guys, because if we just going to wait for people to make change for us, it's never gonna happen.
Great. And as Anna said, we can all start small, and then when all those small initiatives come together, it can actually create a ripple effect. So in case you guys would like to stay associated with us or would want to know more about Women Leading Forward and Femspace talks, Kamand had posted some of the links related to our page and Global Shapers community in general. So please definitely refer to those and stay with us, stay in touch with us, because it is a genuine effort on our part to provide you young aspiring leaders with a space to feel heard, to share collectively about your concerns, and then come together and also plot for a positive change. Yeah. So definitely stay in touch with us. And on this note, we move on to the next question that we have for you, Anna. And that is, have you ever felt the imposter syndrome being a leader? And if so, how did you navigate your way through it? Another very pertinent observation and question.
Yeah, sure. Well, just for you to know, guys, I was like leader, especially with volunteer work, volunteer projects and stuff. Well, in the work field, I was able to be a leader like once, like to lead an intern, but it was not like a good experience because the intern, he was like, I don't want to work here, and then he moved to another project, But when I was leading at ISEC and other projects, many times I had this imposter syndrome, many, many times I was doubting myself, even if I was doing my best, even if I received a reward for the best project of the year, and even if the numbers were saying that we made a great impact, I was always doubting myself. And the thing that really helped me, it's cliche to say, but it's therapy, because at the therapy, my psychologist, she always told me, like, you are just focusing on your failures. Let's think about the things that you achieved, like let's turn your point of view, because you're just looking to the things that you didn't achieve yet, or you couldn't achieve because of many factors, And every time, like in my professional life, nowadays, that I really think, okay, I'm not good enough, and I say, oh no, I made this, I could do that, like look at all the backlog of the tasks that I had to do. I made like most of them. Why am I saying that I'm not good enough? So every time that you guys are going through imposter syndrome, think about the things that you have already achieved, and think about this is a challenge for me too. My leader, he always says to me, like, you have a lot of struggle asking for help. And I know why, because as a Black woman, as a poor person from the northeast of Brazil, when I'm here in São Paulo, that is a metropolis, that is a big city, people always think that you are not capable of doing anything, And then this way of protecting myself or trying to show people that yes, I can do it, is doing it by myself. But if I do by myself, like sometimes it won't be like that good, as if I was like asking for help. So that's why, like, sometimes we really, and this is really part of the imposter syndrome, because I can say, no, I can do it alone. No. And then when you burn out, you said, no, I can't do anything. I'm like, null, I am nothing, and then you start doubting yourself. But when you create like this, as I said, like the community environment, that it is okay to ask for help, and it's better to ask for help than doing alone, that there are people that are believing in your in your capabilities, and yourself, believing in yourself, you believing in your abilities, believing in your talent, believing in all your journey, the things get better, you become more realistic. And when this insecurity comes, you can say, oh, well, let's be rational here. So I had 10 things to do, I did 8. I couldn't just do 2. Am I really that like incapable person? Well, I don't think so. And then try to understand why I couldn't do this too, And this happened to me recently. That's why I'm being too personal, sharing this experience.
Thanks, Anna. Thanks for sharing your very nuanced perspective on the imposter syndrome, and also sharing honestly your experiences. It's really, really, really nice to listen to listen to the fact that we are not alone. It's
For
really
sure.
nice. We have another question for you, and then Emma, I come to you after I have addressed this question, which is in the chat. Yeah. So what we want to know is, Anna, what do you do when someone questions your leadership position or abilities to lead?
Well, sometimes I faced the situation, that people questioned about like my abilities, or that I was not good enough to the project that I was leading, or to the action that I was taking part of, And of course, like I like, personally speaking, like I got a little bit sad, because I always get a little bit sad, because hey, like I'm putting a lot of effort. And of course, there was one thing that I was doing in the past that I don't do now, that's prove myself to others. Like, you don't have to prove yourself to others. Like since when I was a teenager, I was always trying to prove myself to others, always trying to get the approval of others. And I realized that to be a leader, you don't need like the approval, like every time checking, hey guys, am I doing okay? Of course, the feedback is important, but most of all, like when people are really interacting with you, communicating, collaborating, the insecurities, like they go away, you know, because you think, hey, like you see through your own eyes, I'm doing a good job, you know. And when a person like question this, what I try to do was to like make the accountability that I told you. Okay, you question my abilities because I couldn't do 2 tasks out of 10, but let's look the other 8. Let's look to it. How was the quality? So let's make some metrics, like some key points, you know, for me to improve or for me to change, you know, or to talk to other people to change this perspective or to improve the quality of this job, you know. So I always ask for feedback, but of course, constructive feedback, you know, because when a person just say like, oh, your work is shit, like, what do you get from this person? Nothing, just insecurity, just sadness and insecurity, you know. But well, when I face this kind of situation, I try to make the accountability of my actions. I try to make to reflect about the impact of my actions and try to talk to this person. So, hey, let's talk, you know. What do you think? But showing all this data, do you really think that I'm not able to be in this position? You know? But well, practically speaking, guys, this is not necessary, you know. If you are secure of your job, if you are aware that you are doing a good job, you don't have to care about the other people's opinion, you know, unless they are your leaders, unless they are really pointing that you've done wrong, and then you try to understand in a better way, you know. But yeah, this is my advice, and I'm giving this advice for myself too, you know, because it's not that easy when you are questioning.
Great, thanks, Anna. Thanks a lot. As we move and I hand over the mic to Emma, I would like to request all our spectators here to quickly take a few moments out towards the end of this event and give us your feedback by filling up the Google form, the link for which Kaman has posted. Again, this is a space for us women, by the women, and so that we initiate dialogue at a local level, and then each of us feel empowered to bring about change collectively at a global level. Yeah. So please let us know how we can improve. What were the points that you liked, and what else would you like to expect from us through Femspace talks, right? And with this, Emma, over to you. Ask away. Emma, we can't hear you. There is some issue with your audio. So you are not muted, but we still can't hear you.
Sometimes it's the setting of the Zoom when you connect with the computer audio, I think.
No, Emma, I'm sorry. Still can't hear you.
If you go to the microphone on the bottom left, there is an arrow. You click on that arrow and you can choose the microphone, which ones are you using. So normally I would choose like same system, or you can choose your own microphones.
Okay, can you hear me
now?
now?
We can hear you.
Yeah. Yay!
Okay, so in many places, especially where I come from, women are viewed as symbols of sex, yeah? So my question is, how do you handle that, especially, and also how did you handle it growing to be a woman in leadership?
Well, when I was in Colombia, I used to work like for 5 months in Colombia, and it was a really nice project. It was to teach English through the goals of the United Nations, you know, the development goals. SDGs, yes, it's the SDGs, right? And so teaching English through the SDGs. And then when I arrived at the school, there were male teachers. They were like, "Oh, you're from Brazil? Nice. So you were like, ha, tá garota," and stuff like that. They were like, really? Like, this is the first thing that they think about us, you know? So, oh my God, you know, how to samba, how to dance sexy and stuff. And like, hey guys, I'm here to do my job, you know? And well, let me see, like people always, in Colombia, especially when I was in this position, you know, people always expected me, you know, to, I don't know, to behave in a way that they thought about my culture, you know. And here is the same, because I'm not in my hometown right now. I am in a big city like São Paulo. And so I'm like a foreign here, you know, and people, they always expect me, oh, so you're from the Northeast, so you, I don't know, sometimes I think, oh, so you are lazy, oh, so you are like, you don't know many stuff, you know, like they think that I'm dumb, like, I don't know why, like, this is just prejudice, you know, and they think, no, but you know how to dance, or you know how to seduce and stuff, but well, most of these things were spoken like outside of the work, but from people that worked with me, you know, that really made me uncomfortable, because even if we were at a bar, you know, like just talking shit, you know, we couldn't like just say this to the people, you know, because it reflected in my job, you know, and I realized that was a huge difference of treatment, of evaluation, of patience, I think, between myself and the other people from here, from São Paulo, especially if they were white, you know. The expectations for me were like higher than the other people. And I really didn't know why. And I was like, why are you like putting the expectation for me to be like that productive, to be like that, the best of the best, to be like all dressed up, or to be the smartest person ever? And to the other people, like they just have to do the average job and everything is okay, right? And I really realized that is was racist, you know. And as you told me, people, they really think that we are not capable of doing a great job, and that's why they put like high standards for us, because they know that we can't achieve this. They really think, oh no, they can reach like that, the milestone, you know. And that's why they really think that, oh, so you're just like a funny colleague, you know, a colleague that's dancing, that are crazy and stuff, and that really suits the stereotype of a Black woman, of the Northeast of Black woman here in Brazil, you know. And this really pisses me off. That's why I was talking earlier about trying to prove yourself to others is really tiring, and it's sometimes, most of the times, useless, because people are never satisfied. People will always fit you in the box. You always, oh, so you're Black woman. Oh, so you're from the Northeast. Oh, so you are not professional because you say jokes at work. Like, what? You know? That's why, you know, like every time that people try to put you in the box, you know, say, oh, you have to know me. Like I'm more than the stereotype that you think that I am, you know, like look at my work, you know. So this is all become like, this become different, you know, the way that you react, the more you become secure of yourself, you know, as Patricia told earlier.
Great, Anna. Really nice to hear. Patricia has a question. So I will hand over to you, Patricia, in a bit. But what I just want to leave the audience with is the fact that we have a networking session. And for that, it would be great if all of you could post your LinkedIn profiles on the chat so that we can all exchange our contacts, and the association that has formed today, this can be a long-term and a sustainable one. Right? All right, Patricia, over to you.
Thank you. It's, oh, sorry, thank you. Anna, I'm so inspired by you. So I'm just gonna say to start with, que legal. I love it. It's really nice. And it's, you know, it's really good to hear all your stories, and it's so live, right? This is really the face of Brazil. But I wanna Really not asking a question to you, but I think maybe just add to your comment on the answer to Emma, because I think she touched a very sensitive, important and strong point. And I just want to say the word is biased nowadays, right? We are full of bias. We're full of stereotype, as Anna well said. You know, if you think about the real world, and then if you think about the online world, is even worse. And I got myself the other day reading an article at the DW, which is probably the only newspaper in Germany that I can read because it's in English. And they were talking about Google, and they were talking about and they specifically mentioned Brazil. That's why you know, of course, it got my attention immediately. They were talking about if you search for certain words, and I think the word was like woman something, I don't remember exactly what it was, but if you search for some certain words that involve woman in Germany, there will appear, you know, this very serious, well-dressed woman, respectable woman. But if you search the same thing, you know, and then you put Brazil in the end, you just would see carnival, you know, and people underdressed. And it was exactly the same set of words. And that caught my attention. And I happened to know someone at Google in Brazil, and I sent my entire, you know, I was absolutely disgusted by what I saw, because this is an online bias, and that's not fair, because that's not the way we should push our word forward. And you know, going back to what Emma just said, so how we deal with situations in your work environment where people are sexist, right? Where they think that because you're from a certain country, it means that you know, your body is available. And my advice would be just be strong, and just, you know, just say no, just don't admit that this is happening. Nowadays, there is a lot of tools in companies, right? And I know the word is, you know, is easier said than done, of course. But, you know, there's a lot of tools nowadays where you can report this kind of things. And this is a serious thing, right? This is a serious threat. And this is something I really, really encourage every single woman. If you feel that you're not being respected by someone, either your boss or your peer or whoever it is that is working with you, you have to report. You have to be strong, and you have to put your word out there, because, you know, you deserve the same respect that anybody else. And this is a serious situation that happens. It's reality, and you need to make sure that, at least in the real world, you're not going to accept bias. So thanks, Anna. I think you inspired me today a lot, and I think Emma's question was a very good one as well, because this really happens in the real world. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, thank you so much, Patricia. You inspired me. And just addressing this situation that you told about report. I was in a company that they really like harassed, like they were really doubting about my work, you know, but in a really, really bad way. Like, you know, my leader were really saying like, your work is shit, you know, like you're not good enough to be here and stuff. And I was like, I was just asking for respect. I was like, oh, like, can you please like treat me like equally as you treat the other people? Can you please respect me? And she was like, I'm not your friend to respect you. I'm like, what? And I just told her like, you don't have to be my friend. You just need to be a professional, you know? And then I quit. It was the best feeling ever, you know, because you don't have to be in an environment that people treat you in that way, you know. Nobody deserves to be treated in that way, you know. And I reported her.
Great. Thanks, Anna and Patricia, for this very enriching discussion. And I think listening to you guys reminds me of the yin and the yang, how they come together to create immense power and immense energy. So I can already sense this power that the session is harboring, you know, in the form of the both of you. So really thanks a lot for being a part of our event today. And we have another question from Jamil. And after Jamil has asked the question, Kaman will take over for the rest of the evening, and she will take you through the later half of the networking session and also the closing.
Thanks, Harshita, for giving me the floor to take, ask my question. I really want to try Portuguese. Oi, tudo bem? And que legal. I'm a big Brazilian fan, and
nice.
I tell you the truth, I was admiring Ronaldinho lots of time for the whole time. I thought Ronaldinho is football, but then I saw Marta, and Marta for me is sorry for Ronaldinho, she replaced him more or less. And I don't know why people, when they Google, find something about, I don't know, this picture of woman. For me, that's at least my perspective. I've never been to Brazil, but seeing women playing better soccer at the Copacabana than men shows me that they are more than equal. They're better in sports, in this kind of sport. So I really admire that. And from your speech, I mean, just to you, Anna, just listening to you makes me feel like whenever you say something, you can do it. And this alone, your energy is a pure evidence or proof of your leadership qualities. And so I don't want to talk too much, but I want to ask maybe to both of you, you can answer it. Just 1 or 2 questions. One is about, you mentioned this sort of collaborative leadership. I see this as a good way. It has lots of positive qualities, but don't you eliminate sort of competitiveness? I hear that competitiveness is also good. It's in our biology, it's in our DNA, it's a way to improve ourselves. But I'm talking not about destructive competitiveness. Of course, the skills eliminate destructive competitiveness, but how is there room for, let's say, competitiveness in itself? What is the idea behind that? And from what I've seen is that toxic environments is maybe the lack of, at the end of the day, I mean, it's a job, but it's the lack of understanding or seeing through these multivariable equation of lots of factors and variables that lead to, I don't know, payment gap, or they just don't understand. They don't, they personally, they have some issues maybe, but you always have to compensate for others. And this is really frustrating, takes a lot of energy of you, and maybe that's leading to burnout or you leave. But maybe that's the solution. But how do you cope if you had such a situation with someone who's not even their fault, but they don't understand the issue, they don't understand you personally, despite the fact that it's just a job. At the end of the day, you just leave, you just get your payment, and it has nothing to do with you personally. Yeah.
Wow. Well, the first one about the competitive, it's well, as I told you, this kind of collaborative leadership, they really focus on more on the development of the individual. So it's a really nice way to think that you are competing with yourself, you know, like you are focusing on your development and how, of course, you can help others in their own development, you know. I don't know if I see some kind of competitive, like if Patricia want to add something, you know, she's very welcome, you know. But as I saw, like in some collaborative teams that I've been part of, I always like was really, well, in my perspective, okay, I'm competing with myself, you know, because I need to develop many stuff, you know, to do my own development plan. I need to achieve some goals, to set my own goals and to achieve these goals. And of course, to be followed by my leader, you know, my leader is going to follow me, to give me feedback each month, you know, to see how am I going. And I really want to know how competitive, like it's benefit, because I don't know, because I'm really, guys, I'm not a competitive person, you know. When every time, like when in my childhood, we were like, no, we have to win and stuff. And I was like, guys, I just want to play. I just want to play. I just want to have fun, you know. And in my process of like being a leader, of course, I want to show my best, but not to be like better than others, you know. It's just I want to show my best for my main goal, the goal that I set when I set my development plan for myself to be a better professional, you know, like this is the first point. Like, this is my point of view. And of course, there's a lot of models. This is just what I believe, what is best, like for me personally, because I'm not a competitive person.
I hear that. I hear that. I hear that. I mean, I like the point about you compete with yourself. I mean, that answers the question actually, and it's a really healthy way. Yeah.
Yeah. And the second one, you told like, how can I cope like in these hard situations, in these difficult situations? Is it right? Like when people...
I mean, what I say is there are lots of misunderstandings and lots of between colleagues, and or if you're new to a place. And the issue is that usually stress and burnout and all these other things happen because you have to overcompensate for the lack of, I don't know, ability, quality, or vision of others. So when it's not your fault, I mean, it's not, the fault is not in you. It's not that you fail, but it's that the environment or the organization doesn't support you with the resources, or I don't know, someone is not at work, so you have to do the work for them as well, and it doubles, and you have to, stay longer. Which is why it's not your fault. You mentioned about 10 things and you do 2 things great, but 8 things not. But maybe it's not yours, it's external, not internal. That's what I mean.
For sure. Now I understand your question. I was watching a conference that it's about racial equality in big companies, in big corporations. And there was a speaker that he was saying that many big companies here in Brazil, they are doing a lot of policies to hire Black people and LGBT people and to make like a career plan for them to reach the leadership. But the thing is, oh my God, what's the word? Like the staff change, you know, it's very fast, you know, Patrícia, me ajuda. Tipo, ai, meu Deus, volatilidade. I forgot.
Yeah, productivity would be.
Yeah, I think like the way that the staff change. So for example, we hire 50 Black people, but then these 50 Black people, just 10 remain. And then we hire more other 50 Black people. But why just 10 remain? Because many big companies, especially big companies, they don't have like the patience to wait for them to have the abilities that they need to have, because as they are big companies, they really like thrive for high skills, you know. But most of them, they don't have, because of the social inequality that we have here in Brazil. And that's why I say, okay, let's give you a chance. But, you know, like for you, the stakes are going to be a lot higher, you know, you have to like make a lot of efforts to reach that. And they don't help these people. And they just impatient. So, hey, why didn't you do the right job? You know, why didn't you do that? So you're fired. So that's why the staff, even if it's diverse, the big company tries to be diverse, but if you don't have like an environment of a learning environment, if you don't have a supportive environment, these people, they can't stand, they can't be in this environment, you know. And this happened a lot to me, you know, because I'm still not graduated yet because of many things in my life, you know, that I couldn't graduate yet. And so work and study, it's pretty hard for me. And I'm not from here, I'm not from São Paulo, and I'm not like graduated, especially like in research or in the UX design, you know. So I'm learning because I migrate from my area that was product management to UX design. So many people, they really wanted me to be ready, but the conditions, they didn't allow me to be ready, you know. That's why the big companies really I really thrive, you know. I really like pursue this in each company that I'm working for, and I'm working at IBM right now. I'm really like trying to show my leaders, you know, so hey, how about we have like a development program for people that are migrating from other areas to UX design? Why don't we do a workshop about racial literacy to talk about like some expressions that you can't use, and to understand the reality of Black people here in Brazil, you know, especially for my leaders, you know. So we really, like, as the diversity group in IBM, we are really trying to make these discussions and to show our leaders that, as you told Jamil, like, it's not our fault. It's just that we didn't have the opportunities, the privilege to be already ready, you know. So we really need the investment of these components of our leaders to believe in us, you know, to believe that we can reach, you know. And we have a lot of cases. We have a lot of successful cases here in Brazil that they give free courses. They really help them to do like the leadership path, you know. They really train them all the time for them like to reach the level that they really want. So they invest in these people. When the company invests in diversity, the impact is, you know, like it's beyond expected, you know. That's why I really believe that there are conditions for us to have a healthy environment, you know, to not be always like this competitive, this pressure environment. Why, you know, let's just help each other, you know. Of course, this is in utopia, in capitalism, but we always like try to change things, you know?
When I can add something to this, so I understand patience is really hard and kindness at the end of the day wins. And I want to relate to three qualities that.
Oh, you're
sorry,
mute.
Again, I want to relate. I just want to mention three, if we have time to relate to three qualities that special leaders should have. I mean, what you mentioned is IQ. So companies focus on their intelligence quotient, but they miss the EQ and the SQ, like the emotional intelligence and the social intelligence, which are far more important than just being smart. But I get the point. So yeah, but thank you so much for answering the questions.
Yes, thank you, Anna, for this Q&A session. And yeah, I believe that sometimes we're so lost in just following development and how the world is moving forward, and it's going at a fast pace and we need to keep up. But then in the meantime, we shouldn't forget about the people and investing in people and taking the time to instead of putting someone in a box, talking to them, mentoring them and showing them what they can do to be better, to learn, because not everyone has the same privileges and the same opportunities. And yeah, so this is why it's important to connect with each other and to yeah, always keep that in mind. And also this is why we're doing this with Women Leading Forward, to connect more women together and to lay the ground for future mentorship, maybe even if someone needs help with something, that they know there's a community they can rely on, they can seek help. And yeah, I really love the energy of tonight, of both of your speeches and what you shared with us, your personal stories and experiences. And yeah, it's amazing. Also, thank you from Chen. I see it in the chat. And yeah, if you have more questions, feel free to ask.
Guys, come to Brazil, Carnival, of course, after the pandemic, right? Come in Carnival. There is always São João that is in June, that is amazing. So we have an amazing parties, amazing people, food and stuff. Please just come, you know, you are all invited.
We'll organize a traveling group.
Yes.
We'll be there, Anna.
Yeah, I'll be there too. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, feel free to follow us on the social media. We have 2 more events planned for this year. The next one is end of November, the 25th of November. And the last one will be on 9th of December. And yeah, share your thoughts, give us a feedback, how you liked it, or maybe what you would like to hear more about. And yeah, thank you all for joining, for taking your time. Jamil, do you have a question, or is that
Nothing. No, it's just from last time.
I see. Yeah. Well, thank you all. It's been amazing.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I really enjoyed this evening today, and I feel super inspired. And thank you for all the questions as well that made the session super interactive. And it was very nice. And Ana, I'll be in Maranhão, right? I'll be visiting you because I'm from São Paulo. São Paulo is super boring. Super boring. The air is not good. There's no nice beaches or a nice environment. So I'll be visiting you in Maranhão. Wait for me there. I'll be there.
Me too. My gosh.
I know, right? Super lucky.
For sure.
Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.